Welcome to the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast.
Good morning, everybody. This is Jarvis and Scott. What's happening, Birmingham? Today I have the honor and pleasure of being with Mr. Fred Davenport of WVTM. Fred, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, anytime, man. I'm glad to be here and share my story to your viewers.
All right, you all know this face. This man's more famous than me. He's a digital journalist, as like I said, WVTM. Want to bring him on today just to kind of talk about his experiences covering news here in Birmingham. So, Fred, how are you doing?
I'm well. It's a few hours before I go to work, so I'm just enjoying that little break because, when I go in, it's boom, boom, boom. Although it's been kind of quiet lately, but, you never can tell how your day-to-day will be.
All right, so just tell us your story, how you got into the business.
Well, how I got into the TV business was back in 2008. Before 2008 and before I graduated high school, I job shadowed at the NBC station, CBS station in Huntsville, Alabama.
All right.
And so at the NBC station, they promised me a job to work in production. And so once I got to Alabama A&M, a lot of people really probably don't know that story, but so I went to Alabama A&M, and the first 2 weeks of school, freshman year, I went to do it. I filled out the application, did the job interview, and got hired on. So I spent 4 years while I was at Alabama A&M, and I worked my way up from production to photography, videography, to news reporter. And so that's how I ended up in Birmingham. Started out at CBS, and then I spent some time there, and I went to NBC, WVTM 13. So that's where I am now, 6 years later, still here.
All right, so how did you find your niche, just specific? Because most people, I guess they find you a lot online and everything, just covering just specifically crime. How did that just become kind of your niche reporting?
Right. Well, like I said, I did spend some time, I had 3 years at WVTM 13 as a reporter, traditional reporter, and so at the end of that contract, I went to more digital journalist, and I wanted to figure out how could I win, how could I do something different. And because I knew then while on TV, it was a struggle to get people to watch. Mm-hmm. And I know everyone is on their phone. Everyone has their phone. So I was assigned to the night shift. I'm currently still on the night shift now. And so I would go to different scenes. And so I thought about it. There's a live feature on Facebook. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are on Facebook. Why not go live on Facebook? And so it all worked. Mm-hmm. Till this day, it still works. Even as you can see now on my page, there we have breaking news. Yeah. But this is in Florida. Okay. The technology has advanced since I started doing the digital journalism. Mm-hmm. But it's worked. A lot of people like to see what's happening in the city. They like to know what's happening, what side of town. If there's crime on it, they want to know as soon as I hit the live button. But who's involved, what happened, their name. But so yeah, it's just people really like to see. They don't want to wait until 10 o'clock. You still have those that still like traditional TV reporting. Although the reporting hasn't changed, it's just different platforms. And you have various age groups, various everything's very dynamic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So kind of go back to like news reporter, it's kind of you work night shift. So typically it's kind of like you're kind of waiting around to see if something's going to happen.
Not necessarily. I go in every day with stories that I want to cover for the day. Typically, local stories that impact the community. So I go in with story ideas and we pitch those to managers, and they make a decision on what we cover. And so during that time, if I'm working on a story, which it happens just about every day, there is breaking news. There's some sort of news that's going to break. And so it takes me away from the story that I had planned to cover breaking news. It's not every day, it's every other day. If it's not every other day, it's weekly. So there will be breaking news that will happen while working on those planned stories.
So you have organized chaos.
Somewhat, yeah.
So let me ask you this: so the moment breaking news and you go to the scene, how long does it take for you to kind of piece together before you go live?
That's the trying to get information confirmed is the struggle. Because you have to, there are certain people that you can talk to. I know I can't just talk to any officer on the scene, any firefighter, any just, a person. I have to talk to a supervisor. And so they're very busy. So I have to wait on, typically, depending on the severity of what happened, they have like a public information officer assigned to us. So we have to contact that person, depending on the time of the day, or talk to the supervisor that is at the scene. So that's the struggle. But at the station, they want, if breaking news happens, they want you live right now. So I have to figure it out. Okay, I don't have the information. They want me live. So I have to describe everything that I see, but be very careful on what I talk about, what I show, until it is confirmed. Because you don't want to get into trouble legally saying information that is not accurate. So you have to walk a very tight line on the information that you deliver to the people. Although you look in the comment section, people are asking so many questions, and I don't have the answer to that. And then there are times when I might have a clue or an off-the-record answer, but I still can't talk about that until it's on the record and confirmed.
Were you there that night with the Galleria shooting?
Yeah.
So walk me back that night, how you was able to get the information out and all was transpired from on the news.
Well, thankfully that night, and typically I do have that help. I have people back at the station that help gather information to make it easier on us. But that night, that Thanksgiving night, there was a homicide in North Birmingham. So we had it was very chaotic at that scene. So once I left there, I went back to the newsroom. And as soon as I made the turn to go up the hill, like around the Vulcan area, I got the call, you need to go to the Galleria, the River Chase Galleria in Hoover. So when we got there, of course, still chaotic. You have first responders all over the place, firefighters, police, people coming out of the mall. So, okay, now I have to figure out if there's still a threat. It's my safety in jeopardy. And I think about that a lot when I go to different scenes. And so that one, everything was good. We got the all clear. So we began to talk to people first, get their account of what happened inside. Because I know, again, it's still going to be some time before we get information because they're working to figure out what when I say they, police, they're trying to figure out, is everything all good? Is everyone accounted for? So again, at that point, we had to talk to very high officials because that was a different level of story. So you had the public information officer, the police chief, the mayor. Those were the people that we had to seek out that night to get information. Very, they were very careful, and you can understand that because you don't want anything to hurt the case. They were very careful on the information that went out that night. But you still have to ask very tough questions. You have to ask to get the information that the public needs to know.
All right, so I'm gonna go back to earlier, like you were saying, like with the live video. Are you a little bit looser? I know sometimes with broadcast TV you can kind of cut. But with live video, hit that live button, you can show a lot of things that's going on in the background of, crime scenes and things like that.
As far as what I'm doing? Or
what you're doing. Like, most time I see you go live, you'll be a couple of places, even, after, the scene has been declared. But you can show things that you probably couldn't show, be like, well, oops, it was live, where it was recorded.
Yeah. Again, I'm still very careful. I will look before I go live to see what I don't need to show, what I can show. I think last week there was something that I didn't need to show, so I had to zoom in to get across from that. And then pan left to right, very carefully. But behind the scenes, now I don't really control my lines, it's controlled back at the station. I'm just talking.
Technology. Okay.
I'm live. They use news cameras set at the cell phone.
Okay.
But there are times when I still use the cell phone, depending on how fast I need to get it up. When it comes to me though, I have both phones. Making calls. I'm texting. I have a notepad typically in my back pocket, so got one phone to the ear, looking at one phone and trying to write at the same, trying to take notes.
Yeah, same way. Like I'll see with this phone, my questions on this phone.
Yeah.
So, I always just wondered that, that part of it. Now, next thing I want to ask you is, and just on the personal side, how do you maintain your composure? When tragedy, or have you had instances where maybe you come across a crime scene and maybe it was a friend, or a loved one, and you still had to kind of deliver the news?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say so much it's been like a relative or friend here. But, I've been in this business well over 10 years and I've seen so much. And so sadly, become accustomed to the stories that I've covered. And it's just like, the only time when it really gets emotional or sort of sad is when it really impacts kids, a lot of kids, or because that's always tragic. It's tragic for anyone, but definitely when it impacts kids. And so, but I still have a job to do. You have to be very strong, and sometimes you go. I've talked to many victims, the families. You just have to be strong. You might see them break down, but you just have to maintain the strong part to keep really help them, because if they see you break down, then they're going to break down even more. So you just have to be strong.
Okay, so the next question I want to ask you is, how has, I'm going to say, probably not two part. In your opinion, how has crime changed in Birmingham, but and tie that into like crime reporting over the years since you've been in the business?
Well, I can say the last 2 years, I found myself, especially during the summertime, even during the wintertime, you would go to shootings back to back every night, if not every night, every other night. Mm-hmm. But fast forward to now, I'm still trying to figure out, okay, something is working, because this week, in the last few weeks, the number of calls of shootings that I've had to report to has gone down. Which is
school back in.
I don't know if it's school back in. I don't know if it's the roadblocks. I believe it could be the roadblocks, or other resources that there's a lot of people here who are in need of money, education, jobs. Maybe that's kicking in. The roadblocks. It could be a combination of things. But I can say honestly, and you can ask probably other people that work the night shift. It's been, the number of calls have dropped as far as like responding to a shooting. Although this is not a small city, so you will have an incident to happen here and there, but it hasn't been like shooting here 7, you got a shooting at 8:30, shooting at 9. Although like I said, you have that to pop up here and there, but it hasn't been back to back like it was maybe last summer or the summer before that.
Well, have you found, as we move on to my next question, have you found like over the years that you seem to be a better detective than actual police detectives as far as solving the crimes and things like that?
No. I leave that.
Because sometimes people can come to you and they'll tell you about what happened on the scene. Yeah. Then instead of going to the law authorities.
Sometimes people do, but there's a way you have to go forward with that. You have to be very careful with that too, just for safety reasons.
All right.
But I do talk to, I have interviewed detectives. They have taken me out to scenes to talk to family members because they need help solving a case or they need new leads. So I think we've done a really good job with helping Birmingham police to detect homicide investigators or robbery, whatever it may be. But I wouldn't say I'm a better detective, but I just try to help them as much as I possibly can with the platforms that we do have.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right. So my last question I want to ask you is just going back to social media. So did you ever think before you got in this, you would become such a social media influencer throughout this whole thing, reporting and things?
I'm sure people have seen the work and like, I want to do that. I have, heard from people just like this week say, your work is very inspiring. And, that's the whole goal of it. Okay. It's really just to help other people get started, give them advice, give them tips to help them, if they want to start a podcast. But everything for me has been community-based. All right. Just trying to help introduce the people here to other people in the country through our following on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Okay. But that's really been the whole goal, is just trying to tell those stories in the community and put the people that are doing good things here, put them out there and let people see their work. And I feel confident, like I said, that it's working. We tend to get a lot of shares, and I get a lot of messages that I really don't talk about, but I keep some stuff private from people that live in other places who come back and comment and say, hey, I like what they're doing. How can I help them? How can I donate? So it's. And then we get stories from other places that we share on our pages, and people here, how can I? Just like we had a woman in St. Louis who kids knocked on her door, she will give them food. So you had people here who wanted to know. We shared the story on our pages, social media pages, and they wanted to know, how can I help this woman in St. Louis? So we're all really just helping each other.
All right. So I guess my last question I'd like to ask you is, for more information and like get in contact with you, social media handles and emails and all that great stuff.
Yeah, so you can I'll just give you Facebook. So Fred Davenport, WVTM13, and on Twitter it's Fred WVTM13. But Facebook, just send me an email. The email address is on Facebook. Just search Fred Davenport, WVTM13.
All right, so Fred, thank you, brother.
You're welcome, man.
Coming on to the podcast.
You want to bring me back? I'll be happy to come.
Okay, yeah. Thoughts, and most of the time, it's very rare I get somebody that's in media to sit down, because you're so used to interviewing people. You're not used to getting interviews, so thank you for the opportunity.
Well, I do give people that now people, they go live a lot on Facebook, and then they see me at a scene that pop up, and they go Fred, there goes Fred Davenport. They ask me series of questions, but it's nothing new.
All right, so Fred, thanks. Thank you all for watching this video. Please check out what'shappeningbirmingham.com for more videos, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you all again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you for watching the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast. Please check out our website, app, or subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos today.